What is this? What what is hmm, of course the snake that eats itself. Whoa, 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 whoa. Film, camera, action. What? Four, three, two, and the serpent and the the fractal, just whoa. Nothing. Of course, just bashed.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
See what was that? Right? I mean, what is that? What what is this? Right? Oh, it was my mentor. This or it's my dad. Leave him alone. Or what are you saying? What is this? It's a bash guy with the sunglasses. I know, and it says DIAI. Or D, or a zero and a pillar and a pyramid and a pillar. Whoa, who knew? No, right? And apparently the apes are just there. They're just there, just looking at it, but somehow they don't know what's going on. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, nothing. Just in a field. Look, you can see that. Whoa, there's a light in the middle, and they're illuminated. Illuminated by some bash mushroom, right? With the rainbow. Whoa. Right? Smashed. Look, you can see a truck drove through here, right? But somehow the bash apes just didn't know what a truck was, so now they're just gonna eat mushrooms. Right? What's going on? Exactly. This bash knows, but no, nobody knows. Who knew? And you say, of course, everybody knows who that is. And oh, wow, amazing. It's like graffiti, right? Do graffiti there. That's their graffiti. Post and pre mushroom intake or whatever that is. Illumination. Touch that nugget. Touch that nugget. Yeah. But what is this? This Whoa. This bash explains hunting to this other bash. Whoa, who knew?
The Joe Rogan
Oh, he's
Experience.
so light, right? Oh, just his third eye is just blasted. Uncalcified, right? Because now he's just religiously. Oh, he's just feasting on ionized, double twice filtered, inverted, neutralized, then deionized, and then ionized again, and then electrified, and then pass through the ozone layer and back to your bash skull. So that's how pure he is. And wow, it's amazing. The double, he's the SS, of course. The light double lightning bolt. Who knew? And it's an experience. Ah, right. Who knew the experience of just looking through some Bosch telescope? Right? No, it's a microphone. Who knew?
You should eat eggs, though, man. You really should. You should eat some animal protein without. I mean, if you oppose the moral aspect of killing an animal, which I totally understand and appreciate, and that's what led me to become a hunter in the first place. Is that I was really uncomfortable watching these animal rights videos of factory
What?
farming. I thought it was disgusting. I was like, I don't want.
I thought it was disgusting, man. That's so disgusting. Ah, that's what led me to hunting. To strangle the life out of the animal myself and this and that, right? Because, I mean, fine, right? You can eat animals. Who knew? But what is it that you're eating, right? Well, ultimately, it's flesh, right? Whether it's plant or animal, it's flesh. So who knew we're flesh eaters? But what is the flesh? What is the flesh that you call and look around and call life? I don't. Somehow it's just hamburger meat that just slapped together itself over billions and millions and millions and Harry Potter number of this sign to the 33rd power. Okay, that's how much. Wow, smashed. Smashed and remashed, right? Of course it had to be, right? Because this is just proof of the detachment to what we call food, right? Because Even in the day where, fine, you hunted, wow, okay. But what you think of just hunting as just going out there and just smashing, right? And hunting, and wow, now we got food. Wow. Because that's how you would do it. But you have no idea, right? What does it even mean, right? And you go, well, I'm a woodsman. I trap and this and that. I know what it is. Really amazing, right? No. What is it to eat? What is it to feed? What are you feeding off? Is it blessed? Of course it is. But you just smash it down with not even thinking of, oh, it's just as long as it doesn't have calories as much this and that, and yeah, you just bash food to mean some bash other thing that you have no idea what it is, but somehow you boast in it and just try to eat less, eat more green, less of red meat, this and this, just somehow acting right godlike. You think, well, I'm such, I know what it is to be healthy, and I just keep it on my schedule. I would just guzzle down so many smoothies that I'm just so pure. What are you saying? Right? And the people that believe, oh, you eat that, and they're just, oh, you don't know what you're putting into your body. It's just that and this and this. Did you know about processed foods and all the nitrates and phosphates and bash names of chemicals? Wow. They'll go on for hours, days, and even years. And they write relentless articles about it, relentless blogs. Who knew? Right? About what? Nothing. OCD of something you call nutrition, sustenance, of how you can come to manipulate what you put into your body, and somehow you deem it healthy, unhealthy. And you say, well, of course, because unhealthy foods will put you in the hospital, and this and this and that and that. Really? Why? Well, because, it's just unhealthy, the fat and the this. And hasn't it been defrauded? I mean, it's frauded. You've been defrauded out of feeding. Yes, given the bash cornucopia of baskets out there to choose from and see which one you like best. Call it this diet, and you say, of course, we're the relentless omnivore and this and this. Right. To eat of the creation freely, knowing that it is good. Right? So what is it that you eat? You have no idea. Oh, it has to be kosher. It has to be just organic. All these, conditions of this and that. It has to be humanely just killed. It has to somehow have lived in a farm and just killed by my own hand, and this and this and that and this. Well, okay, so somehow that makes you more virtuous of somehow? No. What do you worship? What do you worship? What do you see? First, surely you just see your bash relative, hypocritic, just relentless errors in your own way of saying, wow, somehow I don't eat meat anymore because I just couldn't handle seeing the bash way animals are treated and this and that. Wow, who knew that that's just a porthole into looking into the abyss ways that you and everyone is being abused. The flesh is being abused. You have exactly, but you just say no, PETA and animals and this rights for the animals. Right, take them out of the scientific studies and this. They're not just lab rats and this and that. Wow, who knew that everything that you boast about knowing is due to the trauma and the data and all this supposed wordsmithing of just data upon data, that somehow just came from testing it on animals or so bash humans in some test group, and trauma, more trauma, and just relentless observation, capturing this, that, the other questions, this, the other, this, and bash you into a motive state, and just relentlessly get you to method act some experience and that and this, and now, okay, what happens when you do this? Who knew? And that's in this and this, and now there. Wow. So it's just a myth. It's just a baseball myth that's just been relentlessly bashed, right? But somehow you think it's novel, and whoa, no, it's been the perfect, deception, counterfeit to what you're actually living. Wow, wow, it couldn't be live. No, it's somehow just I wake up and I go pee, and then I put just my day cap on and go out and smash. What is going on? And you say, no, it's just, of course, it's about the fairies and the elves in the ayahuasca realm, and I did this the wow, and I gotta go into isolation tanks relentlessly because somehow it just gives me the feeling of where do I begin and where do you end, and this and that and this and what is what and this is nothing. Whoa. So is that what happened to Jim Carrey? He just went into the relentless isolation tank, and then he came out and he's like, "Wow, nothing. You're nothing. I'm nothing, and nothing matters. It's just nothing. Bash, bash." So he's out there just smashing. Of course, just method acting his way into bashhood, right? He's the worm in the apple, right? Of course, and now he's just worming around. But wow, exactly. We're all just abusers of the flesh, abusers of life in the flesh. Who knew? Because that's all you see. You just look around, you're like, whoa, bashwood. So I'm just gonna go out and bash. And then Ward Virtues has of saying, well, that's why I hunt. Because yeah, I couldn't deal with the bashwood. I couldn't deal watching the bashwood and then somehow feeling guilty about it.
I want to participate in this.
Yeah, it's reprehensible.
Hunting is a different thing, man.
Oh, it's
To me, hunting
reprehensible.
is this intense. It's very spiritual.
You know what's reprehensible, buddy? You know the buddy that said that? It's like, you know what's reprehensible? Yes. You guys talking about this bash as if it were something to even talk about in the sense of it's obvious that people have emotions towards animals, and it's obvious people that have a bash emotion attachment about hunting, right? So it's all about just triggering you, right? So this is a video to trigger your bash emotions, and then just to watch you spiral and just fight against each other and say, "No, you guys should just stop eating meat and this, you horrible people and this." And the other bash is gonna say, "Well, that's why I'm vegan and this and that, and so I'm just so much better and this and this and that and this." Right, but they both worship the light, so they're just smashed.
In a way. I mean, people don't get it because they see you celebrating when it's over, because it's very, very, very difficult to close in on a wild animal.
What are you hunting?
Mostly elk. Well, elk's my favorite for two reasons. One, it's very delicious, super nutritious. Also,
Super delicious and nutritious. He's just like the relentless commercial, right? Of elk. Elk. Right? And he'll say, "Yeah, I go out to the farm where they let me go in, and it's just a park, and then I just blast them. And I use the bow or the crossbow or whatever arrow projectile I could just bash them with. I would use a slingshot, but wow, I haven't got the hook just right, and I wouldn't want to bash my buddy, accidentally. Who knows? But what's going on? Because fine, who knew that people know how to know what's around? Do they not? Or do they just think food is somehow bought or just comes from some bash farm? Because truly, what is a farm? Exactly nothing, right? Because who knew that there's food everywhere? There is food everywhere. Just because you now only call certain things food, you have no idea. So, wow, there's nothing to eat. And that's why you kill your dog and then eat it and this and that or that and the other. So, wow, there's nothing to eat. And that's it. And you just say, of course, there's people who have nothing to eat. Wow, who knew that they're frauded out of that? Because who knew that they're probably the ones that are laboring on the relentless fields for everyone to just receive some export from them. So defrauded, right? They're frauded out of the own food that they produce. So what is our labor, right? What are the fruits of the labor? Are we defrauded of the labor? Is all our labor in vain? Certainly in the ways of the world, yes. So what is the labor? What is the work in the living? Who knew? For clearly that is what we negate, and that is what clearly we are abusing. For we do nothing to bring in, day out. No, it just happens when we expect it. And somehow we just say, yay, we get to bash it and manipulate it. Amazing. Right? And you do that till you'll die. And suffer and die, it is the choice of most. Because it is suffering, right? Because who knew that enduring, right? You can have the devastations of the flesh, yet there's certainty, faith, hope, and love. Yes, amen. But not of the world, not in someone else, not of something or some place or this. No. Life. Who knew? So when we talk about life, then clearly in the state of the flesh where we get to be the witness of life, wow, what is it that what is food? What is feed? What is the feed in the flesh, right? In our mortal state in doubt. What is that? For clearly is it not to be, wow, received with gratitude from, wow, of the Father who provideth, of the green plant to eat, right? And of the animals of the flock, and you say, oh, the domesticated animals and this and that. Well, who knew? What are they? You say, well, we just hybridize them and just smash them and smash them, smash them, smash them. And now we just relentlessly send them to slaughterhouses and just defile them and bleed them out. And then we pack them out, cut them up, and then just distribute them everywhere. Who knew? So relentlessly shipping body parts somewhere, this and that. Everybody just picks the one that looks kind of better in the package, and then it's just grill it or just smash it, bake it, cook it, this and the other. Wow, who knew? Then you're the relentless little chef, and you're just making up little bash things and this and this. Wow, exactly, decadence. But we deny it, right? We deny it. And we turn a supposed blind eye to it because, oh, wow, who knew food tastes delicious? Who knew? Yet, what is food exactly? What is food? Well, I only eat organic and vegan and this in season and local. Who knew? Right? Relentless identifications to some bash food that you deem somehow good enough for you to eat. Wow. Right? Because that's how you think you have control of the life that you're abusing. No, the only control there's no such thing as control. No. There's just smashing. Who knew? Right? And who knew that somebody that is completely bash traumatized will do anything that they've been bashed to just do because they've created the relentless shapeshifter that can get through it all somehow in oblivion. Being the thought that never was, the vapor that never vapored, and just gone. And you say, of course not. That's why you just have to make the best out of it because nobody knows what happens after death, and that's what people boast. Well, keep boasting about that, because who knew that everyone's alive? Who knew that you're living, right? To even boast about it. So what are you saying? No, exactly. For you, the only certainty is death. So therefore, you say death is the only certainty, and nobody knows what happens after. So shut up and this and that. No, you've forgotten life. That's the true promise. Life everlasting with the Father. And in our bash, doubt-filled self-awareness, who knew that, wow, it surely is death. But we resent that. We resent it because deep down we know it was our own doing. So that we could, our eyes were open and we saw the knowledge of good and evil. Yes, who knew? But it's not for you to synthesize. No, you're the witness. And the creation has resolved. Who knew? But you still fall away, and you'll say, well, I hunt because it's just more ethical. I kill the animal and I eat it. I eat it all.
If I shoot one elk, I could eat it for like 8 months.
What are you doing?
Like
freezing them, salting them?
Yeah. Freezing them.
So you're out stalking an elk on the plains.
So this guy's like the relentless Viking, but then he's just like, no, I'm a guru. I just can't wait till I'm skin and bones, and so I can just boast and just sit down and stare at nothing for relentless hours. At this, at that, and that, and this, and I only eat green. And I'm working my way to be a breatharian, right? I'm sure that's what he believes.
Yeah.
Where are you? Like near where you live? You just go out. Do you travel on bikes or something? How do you? You follow them?
Well, you do travel on bikes if you whitetail hunt. A lot of times you'll go into the woods with bikes because they don't leave a scent.
So, well, he's just blasting his, apparent bash knowledge about it. Whoa, he's just dropping knowledge. You go, boy, because you go on bikes and just chase them. Amazing.
The way your feet do,
mm-hmm.
And animals don't associate the sound of a bike the way they associate it with like the sound of stepping. Bipedal hominids stepping towards
they've evolved, right? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Of course. Oh, thank you. But who knew that animals, when you apparently hunt, right, they run away. And you say, of course, because it's, survival of the fittest. They have an instinct to live. At this, at that, at this. So if man has always had a relationship with animals,
bipedal.
They see you on a bike.
Why do they run away, right? Because wouldn't they just be like, they know. They're like, oh, okay, you're coming because you need to feed off of me or this or that, right? Because plants don't run away. And you say, of course, because they're in the ground. So somehow that makes it just amazing to eat. And you're like, well, no, but... So, I mean, who even cares to be even compare animals and plants? But it's flesh. Right? And what is a flesh, if not the flesh of the Father in his creation who knew? But no, you will just literally say, well, of course it's not his flesh because, wow, are we just inside of some bash thing and there's some human? Are we just the fractal of the fractal of the fractal? No. What do you feed? Exactly, you feed your bash, boasting of just surpassing the ego and this and that and this and this and that. Right? You boast in that. Well, there's nothing but the wisdom of the Father.
Freak out as much.
Delightful. Never seen that
like,
before.
What's that?
My brain.
What are these things? Yeah.
So elk, are they like herd animals? So you just see like a herd of them.
Yeah. You see a herd of them, and you try to figure out which way the wind's blowing, and you try to get close to them. Is this a video of us? Yeah, this is a video of us from...
what a beautiful place. I mean, I can see the harmony of
mountains.
nature.
Yeah,
oh
so
my
that's
God.
an elk.
Now, the thing is with me, I see that elk there, and I sort of feel like I've watched too much Disney.
Yeah.
You know, like I see that elk, and I feel like I'm Bambi, literally.
So he's like, I've seen too much Disney, and this and that, and this and this. But doesn't he talk about, how corporations and this? So he knows that Disney is in on it, but somehow it surprises him. Right? And he's like, wow, yeah, there's too much Disney in me that I just feel bad for that elk that's about to get shot because somehow it means Bambi is now motherless. Or this or this or the other, or this and that and this and this and that. Right? Because you surely don't think that when you put a mouse trap, right? And you're like, whoa. So you're like, finally, it's just gone. Why? Because who knew that mouse probably left, litter of mice just alone? Right? Or some bash ant that just crossed the street and bash just died, crushed. So who knew that there's relentless apparent death, and according to you, everywhere? But who knew that life brings forth life relentlessly without your consent? You can go and bash as many little animals and bash yourselves, but who knew life brings forth life? Who knew? And you're like, well, as long as there's of its own kind to do it and this, and otherwise it's called being extinct. Wow. And that's what you use to peddle further fear and further smashing you into just kissing the ring. Kissing the ring from the hand that just smashes you in the flesh. Because ultimately, we do it to ourselves. So what is this guy saying? Too much Disney? Too much Disney? No. Just trauma to keep you in that void state of emotion. Fret. Disconcern. A sense of voidness. You're like, there's something wrong. I just don't know. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. Right? That's the state of the ways of the world.
I don't have it. Like, is that early in the morning? You look tired. Not tired.
Might be late afternoon, actually.
Can you tell?
I think that was late afternoon.
He just called him out. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you must be tired. You look tired."
I from that position, I couldn't. I would love the game of being able to.
Well, who knew?
Because actually, I've had to go down gun ranges. It turns out I'm a pretty good shot. It's nice to see that thing come back with holes around its abdomen.
Oh, bad.
And then its head.
Right.
And I think satisfied. There, you've been dealt with, paper man. But like the elk, I couldn't. I've got too much empathy in me that I couldn't deal with the feeling of after it was shot. I like it, almost thinking about it, the sentimentality of it. I've sentimentalized it now. At least I don't eat meat and stuff like that, so it's not like I have all those feelings but can handle it in a packaged, portioned off way. Yeah, it's just I feel too much like that creature. So what in your head? When you're doing it, when you're pulling the trigger, you're not having what's going on in.
Oh, who knew that this is bash? Look, it's just a bash. He's like, what? I want to get into the mind of a killer.
You should eat eggs.
I couldn't. I would love the game of being able to aim, because actually I've had to go down gun ranges. It turns out I'm a pretty good shot. It's nice to see that thing come back with holes around its abdomen and its head. Right. And I think satisfied justified. There, you've been dealt with, paper man. But like the elk, I've got too much empathy in me that
wow.
I couldn't deal with the feeling.
He's such an empath, right? He boasts in being an empath. I have just too much empathy. Empathy. You just relentlessly feel, the situation of others all the time. So somehow that means you're just so enlightened. No, it doesn't. It means you're full core brainwashed in a state of shellness. You're a shell. And you're filling yourself with whatever bashhood that you just boast in to relentlessly grow that skull of yours, to blast through the sun and join your galactic family of some astral dimensions of who knows.
Of after it was shot, I like it, like almost thinking about it, the sentimentality of it. I've sentimentalized it now. At least I don't eat meat and stuff like that, so it's not like I have all those feelings, but can handle it in a packaged, portioned off way.
Yeah,
it's just I feel too much like. Oh.
So he can handle it in the packaged way, but he wouldn't be able to go out there and just kill. Is that what he's saying? But he's like, fortunately, I don't eat meat, so I don't have to deal with the packaged thing anymore, and this and this and that.
Oh, that creature. So what in your head, when you're doing it, when you're pulling the trigger, you're not having, what's going on in your mind?
Well, you only are hunting these mature animals that have already passed on their genes. You also are recognizing that if you're not killing these things, it's not like they're going to live forever.
Right.
They live a short life with a very violent death.
So they're just so humane. They just picked the sick ones or the old ones. At least they passed on, they got some buck out, and it's just amazing. So I'm just going to just smash it. So relentless justifications, okay, check. It doesn't even matter, right? Because in the end, people would have no idea what to do if there's no supermarkets. And you say, well, of course, it's because it's modern times. We don't need to know what food is. We just need to receive it in packages and even pill form. We're just going to go pill form, full pill, full till, right? Just diving into the deep end, and there's not even water in the pool. So good luck. All in the boast name of somehow being so acute and obtuse. Acute, obtuse. But no, just thick. You're just coagulated now at this point. It's beyond bloodbath now. Now it's gone to the point of coagulation. So, who knew that a man could go out and hunt? Well, and yes, feed his family. For this guy says 8 months, right? If you freeze it, this, the other, fine. Who knew there's other methods of preserving and this and that? Wow, great, amazing. But then what? Is everybody going to go out there and do that? No. So somehow it's just some people do that and just others don't. And others just prefer to just have farmed animals that live and just roam around eating grass relentlessly, and somehow, okay, let's do it. Or no, I'll just eventually just give up meat because I'm just such an empath. Again, no, you have no idea what the flesh is because you're relentlessly abusing your flesh and the flesh of others. Who knew? All just boasting in some virtue that somehow you're selective in the type of flesh that you eat, and this and that and this and this, and somehow, wow, it's amazing. No. Denier of the truth, denier of the way, and certainly a denier of life. For you're boasting in some bashed life that you think you're just so clever in making for yourself, and choosing that diet and choosing this and don't only going to that store because they have the best fresh local product of the season. Who knew? Wow, smashed.
It's either wolves or mountain lions or bears or something's going to take them out.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is essentially dipping your toe into the natural world. And I've heard the argument that, well, this is ridiculous because everyone can't do that. If everyone went out and hunted all the animals, there would be no animals left, which is true. But I'm not everyone. And so
exactly.
I don't,
You can't really use that if everyone did it argument.
it's a good argument because you if you're encouraging people to hunt, it is kind of a good argument because it's not realistic. It's not sustainable. But the other thing to recognize is that the reason why...
So it's not sustainable for as many people as there are on Earth, as we will boast about, right? You know, some bash 9 billion or whatever. Who gives a bash? But if everyone just went out there and hunted, there'd be no animals left. Wow. So that's why we just have to just mass produce hogs and cows and this and that. And relentless heifers get in there and get out and in and 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 out. Who knows how many chickens of all sorts of colors, but namely just the ones with most meat. What is going on? What is going on? There is food everywhere, Bash Rogan. So what are you saying? What is food? And of course, do you know how to plow the ground and feed the spirit? Who knew? Who knew life is not just I'm not everyone, so I have a privilege to go out hunting, and so I understand it's not sustainable. So this or this and that and this, but somehow people have to deal with the fact that somehow they don't hunt, so somehow they're the ones that should just shut up because at least I'm out there hunting and just feeding myself and this and this and that. Wow. And what of your flesh, huh? What of your flesh, right? What is your flesh? What is the flesh that you see around and call life? Wow, you have no idea.
Most of this wildlife exists in the first place. A lot of it was wiped out in the early 20th century from what they call market hunting. In the late 19th century, early 20th century, they didn't have refrigeration, and it was hard to get food, and we didn't have the same sort of large-scale agriculture that we have today. And so when someone would want meat, somebody would either have to hunt it for you, and you would go to the market and get that hunted food, or you would go out and do it yourself. And they basically wiped out most of the wildlife in North America to the point of extinction. Whitetail, deer, elk, they've been extirpated from the majority of their range in North America and only been replaced in a few other places. But
so,
the place...
of course, going along with the genocide agenda, right? So if you look at, right, they killed, apparently, so the story goes, they killed all the buffalo, for example, right? Just to devastate all the tribes of North America, right? So that they would somehow just give up or this or that or just push them back or this. So they did it to the buffalo. So what do you think they didn't do it to the others? No, it's not because just people went out and overhunted. No, it was done. It was genocide. Right? No, it couldn't be. No, no, no. So who knew that what you're doing today is also genocide? Right? But just because it's in a little box that you don't see what's going inside, somehow, wow, you don't hear the slashing of throats and the squeals and nothing, right? Somehow it just goes away. But what is that, right? Because what is the blood that spills, right? So you somehow can eat that flesh, or what is it that you till? What is it that you plow and reap, right? What do you sow? And what is it that brings forth life? What is it? To you, anything but a creator. And that's why you'll boast and boast and boast about just somehow evolution, and that's how it all just happened. And you bash accidentally just smashed and just somehow knew it all through the third eye of hallucinogenics and just cycle psilocybin, cybin, sibin, soybean, soybeans, all just blasting through your third eye that's uncalcified now because now before it was calcified, then just relentless poisons in your body, but somehow you're just so pure and just detoxing relentlessly and that and this and this and that and this and this and this and that. Nothing.
Places where they've been replaced, it's all through money that was generated through hunting tags, all through billions and billions of dollars. There's a thing called the Robertson-Pickman, I think that's what it's called, Act, where 10%, if you buy hunting gear and equipment, 10% of that money goes to habitat restoration, making sure that
Again,
rangers...
protected areas, right? And zones and this and this and that and this and that. Wow. But somehow you don't live in a zoo. No, I live in a country, obviously. No. You live in a compartmentalized zoo. Who knew? And you say, no, I live in this city and that city and this city and that city and this city. Wow, no. And you need bash pieces of paper and bash pieces of plastic to leave certain zones and this and that, or just cross little lines and this and that. Just pass around, toss around, and defiled. Who knew? Exactly. Defiled and refiled and defiled and superfiled and profiled and this and that and nothing, nothing, nothing. You're allowed to pass, pass. You got the hunting tag, no hunting. Hunting tag, okay, hunting. Good hunting. Goodwill hunting. Yes, the bash guy that just was a wizard. Who knew? So what's going on?
And forest people get funded, so there's the fish and game department gets funded, and
so who knew that it just everything gets greased? He's like, just by hunting, wow, all these things get fed. You're doing good, people. I mean, we're giving 10%, and this and this and that and that, so everybody's just feeding off, right? See, it couldn't be that a man, and through his labor reaps. I mean, wow. So what is going on, right? Exactly, man's labor is in vain because now he could just apparently choose what to do, all while he has no idea what labor is, what the labor in life is, what the work. And you boast that your actions of what you do day in day out are your work and your career and this and that, and somehow it makes you such a great person. Wow, amazing.
Also, population conservation, making sure that the populations are healthy, repopulating certain areas with elk and deer. And this has all been done through the money that's generated through hunting.
Oh, who knew? So everybody's saying, this guy's saying, obviously, so you better thank the hunters for just creating the bash habitat for your bash animals that you want to protect and this and this and that. So you better be thankful and this and this and that and that and that. No. Because what are they doing? Habitat for this and habitat for that. We give them and tree plant and give them more space and that and this and that. No. But for what is hunting, right? Because the hunting has a target, right? And there's a bullseye, right? But what are we shooting? What is the target in the sense of what is the purpose? And are we just shooting in the dark blanks and just hope for the best? Yes, for surely that is the state of the ways of the world. Bash blinding you and giving you the bash idea that you're now enlightened through some third eye that can just see through the emotions and navigate it through. And you are the empath that just gets to ride the wave. Just cut that wave, yo. Groovy, dude. Yeah, radical, man. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, I can see that there's looking at my own feelings towards it, I can see that there's a potentially I'm bringing a sentimentality to the idea of animals that's like anthropomorphic.
Yes.
Like I'm like, oh, you can't kill that. What about its babies? You know, I mean, like I'm thinking about things like that.
You think it anthropomorphically because you've been bashed. You said it, Disney. And now he's giving you the A-OK again. He couldn't wait. So he's just telling you, yes, Disney did that beautifully. Morphed animals and give them they humanized animals, all while dehumanizing you. In the sense of you have no it's 50 Shades of Grey. Wow, you're the animal. Just take on the evolution theory as fact. And this and this and that. Just it's swarm ways of how it's just captivating to you. But you have no clue. For certainly, there's no certainty in you, and that's why you're just swayed. No idea what food is.
I live in a rural area in Britain where like hunting is normal, and agriculture is normal, and I wouldn't get very far if I was sort of like, you can't shoot those pheasants, look at their feathers, they're beautiful. You know what I mean? Like it's not a helpful attitude. So whilst I in myself, I couldn't do that because it messes me up on a sort of feels like a very sort of deep, visceral level, like, you know.
But he relentlessly deceives. So what is he saying? He gets stirred up when he sees, flesh get, killed. He's like, no, don't kill it. It has beautiful feathers. Yet, look around you and see the abuse of life everywhere, and in yourself and in others. So could it be that it's because your traumas, that's your trauma. You're smashed, and that's why you can't stand to see some other supposed flesh, just as you think your flesh, the same flesh, your stardust, and blah, 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 and you can't stand it because you're smashed. You have no idea what life is, so somehow you just boast that, oh, killing is just the taking of life, so therefore I just don't, I'm not okay with that, and this, all while just taking of life is everywhere, and it's being done by, exactly the hand of man. So apparently you're just a relentless empath, but why don't you then see what is actually going on? And you say, no, well, it's just capitalism and this and this and that and this and no. Wow. What invisible hand do you worship? The one that just wears a white glove? Yes, you admitted it earlier on.
But I feel that this is precisely the kind of territory where we have to look at acknowledging and tolerating difference between us. This is where I feel like the sort of these ossified, polarized positions between right and left are starting to take root, because if someone like me who don't eat meat, don't eat animal products and wouldn't hunt for ethical reasons starts trying to impose on other people, no, you shouldn't hunt because of this, that, have you not watched Bambi? That's going to mean that people aren't able to explore who they are. I've let go of judging people around things that I don't agree with, because I reckon I don't know everything. You know what I mean? I'm this. This is about my morality.
Oh, so yet he couldn't wait to boast, right? So he's like, I don't know anything, but yet I choose to only eat non-animal products, no meat, and just smash. So he doesn't know anything, but he knows enough to just be certain about that for some reason. Right? Just because he's such an empath. But somehow he doesn't know anything, so really he's just telling you, I'm an empath, which means I don't know anything. Yes, exactly. For surely a person who lives fully in the emotive state, and that's why you'll say, exactly, no, I rise above the emotive state into logic and reason. Wow. Exactly, you fell for the other trap. Because logos and reason. Exactly. Relentless justifications. The murmur of how you can come to wordsmith your way out of anything. Because you're just so free. You're just so free to do as thou wilt. Wow. No. For surely do as thou wilt is the worship of death. So this guy says, "Oh, I've given up judging," but what do you see then? Because if you realize it's not about necessarily going out there and converting everyone to veganism and this, what truth can you say then? If you don't know anything, what truth are you saying then? He's like, I don't know, but it's just my truth. Oh, no. Wow. For surely all men, right? All life on earth, as far as all creations, under one authority, yes, the Father's. But is it not that we in the living have the wow, what is it? What is it that we see, and what is it that we boast? For if there's uncertainty in our hearts, then surely we are just open exactly to nothing. But somehow we call it something. Wow. So what truly feeds us? The wisdom of the Father? No. For surely we just couldn't wait to just feed on ourselves. Through the relentless self-projection, self-analyzing, self-growth, self-betterment, this, until supposedly you become unattached. All mechanisms of trauma in emotion. Yes. Trauma in emotion, and then somehow you can unscramble yourself to feel less emotion, or somehow feel like you have control over your emotions. Well, but you'd be the first to fury out, right? If somebody or anything just came across your way and just showed you what you are, right? And clearly anyone, that's what we're all here for, are we not? It's all showing us what it is and what is exactly going on. But we all just deny it. And we have so many reasons of what it is that we're doing. Wow.
Is about how I behave. And if people said to me, I'm thinking about going hunting, I'd go, well, these are my feelings about it. However, though, I just heard that hunting does contribute apparently to the survival of some species, and there is an argument that it's quite natural and indigenous, and it's probably a way of getting in contact with who we are originally as hunting people. It's an important part of our anthropological.
Wow, so Bash belief in evolution, somehow we came from just Bash that just hunted relentlessly and gathered relentlessly, right? Because somehow Bash half ape didn't know what food was, and somehow it's just Bash. Right? Because, wow, the relation between animals and man has just shapeshifted relentlessly over millennia and millennia and millennia and millennia and millennia and millennia, right? What is going on? No, exactly. It's only our interpretation of what we see that has shapeshifted, apparently, and schizophrenia in our action, right? So who knew? It's just bashing. We actually just behave wickedly and calling it good.
history, and possibly a lot of the condemnation of hunting is part of the rejection of who we used to be as we become overly civilized and more detached from what it is to be human, whether that's sacred or pragmatic. We don't.
Oh, whoa! Just gonna say a bunch of words and bash, right? He's like, does it bring us back to who we are as humans if we just recognize what hunting is and this and that and that? No. What is the daily bread? And what if the people that, go just forever without, one drop of water a day or this or the other? I mean, what is water and what is food? You have no idea. What is the bread and what is the blood? You have no idea. No idea. It's because you're just swimming in the bloodbath of all this false idol worship. Who knew? The relentless chronos. This, and the relentless just staring back and just talking about nothing.
Know what human beings are anymore. We reject our own sexuality, we reject our own bodies, we reject, we're trying to turn ourselves into these sort of cyborgs, these
why then, huh? And this guy's like, right, yeah, how about you just shut up? He's saying, thinking.
Motionless, sexless, meaningless creatures. Where is our passion? Where is our connection with the
no, that's the passion led you to that conclusion. To be this androgynous hermaphrodite, this, the other, who gives a bash. Now you can just be whatever you want. Who knew that was exactly passion that led you to that? And he's like, where's the passion, everyone? What a shame.
Sacred, they would go, hold on, I only asked you about hunting. When are you going to stop talking? Never. You gave me an in. I will pummel you with my belief system on all things. So I don't feel like that ain't where I get into judging people.
Sure. But he'll give you any excuse he gets, he'll just pummel. Is that what he said? Wow. But anyway, nothing to do with hunting, right? Because who knew that, food is everywhere. And you can go ahead and judge in your bash virtue of people that eat animals, whether it be hunting or bash buying it from a supermarket or whatever. But in the end, it is flesh that we consumeth. So what exactly is flesh? Because aren't you part of it? Yes. So what's going on? What is going on? And you say, well, there's just hierarchies of spirit and animal, and therefore there's only some animals we just eat that kind of spirit, therefore we become that spirit, and blah, 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 and this and that, and this and this and that, and this, and wow. You're afraid, right, of everything. No clue of what it is you're living. No clue of the truth. No, just bash, zero certainty. And of course, who knew that would just mislead you into boasting sides against other people? Wow, who knew? All because you can't see and come to an agreement of what it is that you're living. None of you.